Hi everybody, welcome. Claire Prothero here. We are talking about how to bring more ease and flow into your business and really improve sort of the efficiency of your business. And one of the ways we do this is by looking at what we do versus what we delegate. And I would say this is probably one of the biggest questions I get asked all the time is, how do I know how to delegate the right task to the right people? And how do I know if I'm doing the right tasks? Because as I've mentioned over and over again, is that we can be good at something and not enjoy it, which is really what happened to me. Really good in a particular space. I was working in recruitment, but I just really didn't enjoy it. But what I started to notice is I wasn't able to align people to job positions or tasks where I knew they would love it. I knew they would do it with ease, with passion, with efficiency, with less error. I didn't know how to do that. And that is why we developed the tool, the Maverick Accelerator, to help you know with confidence what you do versus what you delegate. And this is not about living in a Pollyanna world. I'm completely aware of that. I have a small team myself, so there's things that I have to do that are outside my area of strength. But there's a huge difference between doing things that you may be good at, or maybe you're not even good at, but really hating, and knowing why you're doing these things. And we are what we call adapting. We're moving away from our natural strengths. So our brain is having to work really hard. We get very drained and very fatigued. So when we know that, we're able to manage our energy, or we're able to notice, I'm doing something that is really draining. I know it's actually inside my weakness. It's not even a competency, it's a weakness. So I need to, in the long term, I need to find someone that I can delegate that to. So I'm going to jump over to a report. Here we go. This is the Maverick Accelerator. For those who've done it, for those who you'll kind of know, and this will be also very relevant for you, because there's always so much to learn about yourself, learn about your strengths. And how we learn is through repeating. That's repetition. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know for myself, I become more effective when I kind of repeat the layer of learning. So what I've used over here is, I've actually chosen my brothers, because I too am in a family-run business. We're siblings, we work together. And although he has other businesses, we do have a dovetail when it comes to the Maverick Accelerator. So this is the Maverick Accelerator report. And for those who have got yours and been through it and understand it, this is also a great opportunity to learn some more and just sort of zone in. For those who haven't, the Maverick Accelerator is tracking how you are spending your brain energy time, where you're doing your thinking. And you may not be spending it. The idea is you may not be spending it in an area that is your natural strength. So let's just pop over to here. My brother has done this, Ed, over a period of years. So we know that the innovator part of his brain, is the most highly efficient part of his brain. This is where his natural strengths and abilities lie. His thinking is fast and effective. So when it comes to coming up with new ideas, thinking of new opportunities, way of improving systems and processes, imagination, being very intuitive. So this is very important, that this part of the brain, if you are an innovator, you remain deeply connected to that intuition. And also quirky, fun, loves to inspire and lead. So tasks that you would delegate if you are the innovator is often the things that lie inside here. So if we look at things like costings, detailed costings, although if you look at my brother here, yes, when he first sees a new project coming in, new opportunity, great at grabbing it, then he starts to say, I've got to get back to the laptop, I've got to crunch the numbers on this, because he'll use his secondary mode, he'll slip into that part of the brain, which he's consciously decided to develop over and above the relator, which he was spending a lot of time in years ago. But to grow a business, he needed to be more strategic and spatial. So he went over to his neighbor. That has 100 times more resistance though. So his primary mode is not this. His thinking is not going to be first in terms of the number. It's going to be first in terms of the long-term value of the project, the opportunity, then crunching the numbers. So that would be something he wouldn't necessarily need to delegate, but it would be because he would have an overall idea of what the profits are. But things over here like that that very, very detailed step by step. So if he has to do that, the recommendation would be to ensure that not spending too much time in that part of the brain. So if you are there, you want to spend an hour, then have a break. Do something that, if you are the innovator, you want to spend an hour doing it. If you have to do it and you can't delegate it, do something that's inspiring, that's creative, that uses your brain in the way it was meant to be, that uses your primary mode of thinking. If you spend all day, if you're the innovator and you spend all day in this green, you will feel exhausted at the end of the day. And it's not to say that, oh, I'm just not going to do that. It's about managing it. So if you're, say, a blue, you want to delegate things that would be sort of related to understanding sort of the problems in the organization, or dealing with people, the people problems, the people aspect of learning to understand, reading between the lines, that relator mode, very good at reading between the lines. And then obviously the relator mode, if your primary mode is the relator, if that's how you think primarily, through emotions, through feelings, that's how you process first and foremost. If you want to be delegating a certain tasks, they would be, obviously it's sitting in this area where it would be sort of financial projections. Otherwise, find someone who can assist you, and then you work on your own, and then you go back and you would then kind of get their feedback on how you're doing, because that part of the brain will be far more accurate. Yes, it does it fastest and far more accurately. So very importantly, to look at your team. If you want to build more ease and flow into your team, that is when people are aligned to their primary mode. They're thinking in a way that is natural and easy to them. And remember, we can adapt, and we see over here, we can adapt, where we can move away from our primary mode. In this case, it hasn't moved away from his primary mode, but he is extending further into the green in his home environment. So as we look at this, the tasks that you want to, that when you're looking at your team, you want to see that, number one, are they using their primary mode? And once you know their primary mode, you will be able to delegate tasks that are aligned to that primary mode. So things like financial analysis would be a projected analysis. The goal would be aligned to the prioritizer. Anything step-by-step implementation, people who are very routine and organized and think methodically, you can delegate to them. You want their primary mode to be there. And then anything, if you're trying to understand people issues or client issues, they'll often be picking up that there are problems way before anyone else. And then you need this in your business to forward think of what are the possible opportunities that you can take in the future. Often I meet teams where they are directly opposite each other. The one business leader is that, the innovator, and the next business leader, their primary mode is the organizer. Very, very powerful combination when they understand each other's strengths and talents. The one is coming up with the ideas, and the one is able to realistically and practically implement them, so it's not sort of chaotically sent throughout the team, which then leads to people not taking initiative because no one's quite sure. So if you want to also boost your initiative, the team's initiative, you want to make sure that people are using their primary mode. Why? Because that's where they feel confident. That's where they know what they're doing. They feel like, this is my space. So often when we don't have that initiative and ease and flow in the team, it's when people are not quite sure of, is this my strength, or am I just good at it? And they feel uncertain, so they kind of hold back. So that's it for today. Please pop me an email if you have any questions, but that's a little bit of a training video for you. Wishing you well. I hope that was valuable. Yes, it's all about knowing people's primary mode, and then of course their secondary mode, because that's just another point while I remember. if you say, look at my brother on this side, Ed, he loves being strategic and pet spatial. What is a difficulty is sort of the ordered and hands-on, that very methodical step-by-step, being on site, following up with each team member, checking this, checking that. That would sort of feel like he's moving out of his value, and he would want to be focused on the more strategic part of the business. So just sort of be aware of that. Okay, that's it for me. Bye for now.